everyone. This is Colonel Fork Plays. We are in Flight Simulator X, and I seem to be dropping quite a few frames, so I'm gonna be checking on that. But we are in Flight Simulator X. Kind of getting everything set up and hunky-dory and all that jazz. First thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to shut everything down. So I kind of want to do things all legit, like, you know what I'm saying? So if you give me a minute, still kind of Okay, we want to see if we can get to the checklist. Where's the checklist? That probably. Checklist! Woohoo! Okay. We want to brakes. We want to set the parking brakes. So that's control period. Everything is off. Fuel selector valve. Looks to be both or all. Okay, engine start. Throttle open 1 inch or a quarter of an inch. Mixture rich. Master switch. Master switch. On. Fuel pump on. Clear prop. Alright. Still dropping a lot of frames. I'm not entirely certain as to why. Okay, going down the checklist. Oil pressure. Oil pressure. We want to check oil pressures in the green. Auxiliary fuel pump off. Flashing beacon and let's see. Yep, those are off. Avionics master switch. That's one thing we didn't do. Oh well, they're on. In fact, I'm not even sure where the switch for that is. Oh, it's right under the yoke. Whoops. So, my bad. So, for right now, we can set that in the corner. As we get ready to taxi out to the runway. And let's get the ATIS.
Toledo Airport information, Kilo.
And I'm running realistic weather.
Zulu, wind 087 at 9. Visibility greater than 20 miles. Sky conditions, ceiling 11,000, broken. Temperature 11.
Weather's not too bad.
Altimeter 3010. ILS, runway 7 in use. Landing and departing, runway 7.
Okay, and we're gonna actually get the GPS set up while we're here. And we're gonna go to Jackson, Michigan. Direct to, we want K. Oh, I guess it's not gonna let me. Well, that's alright. Well, we'll do it this way. Okay. Dang it. Really wish they would add a keyboard input for this and make it a little easier. J. X. N. No, that wasn't it. Message was inside airspace. That's right. Okay. Let's do this another time. Once again. Okay. J. X. N. Oh, this is... Oh. Well, that's my bad. Not actually used to, you know, this. It's been quite a long time, and it's K. J. Although by the end of this, I should be fairly familiar. X. Yeah. Enter. Enter. Ha! There we go. Turn GPS off. How do I turn you off? There we go. So we're going to request taxi to depart north.
Toledo ground, Cessna November 52 Kilo Alpha, Kilo. Request taxi to the active departure to the north. Cessna November 52 Kilo Alpha, taxi to and hold short of runway 7 using taxiway Delta, Delta 14.
Delta and Delta 14.
118.1 when ready.
Alright, knowledge clearance.
Taxi, hold short runway 7 via taxiway Delta, Delta 14, Cessna 2 Kilo Alpha.
Now we look for the signs because we're not familiar with this airport. Let's see if we can turn that on. That doesn't do us a fat load of good. I hate trains. Okay. Nothing fancy, just a little 172. Shut up, train. Nobody cares about you. down a little bit. We're gonna look for Delta. There we go. So how's everybody in Twitchland doing today? I hope your weekend's off to a good start. This is actually my last free weekend until I go back to work. I've been off of work on workman's comp until March 18th, and then my former employer decided they didn't have room for me anymore. So I moved towns, and I've been looking for new work, and I finally got offered a position as a package handler at FedEx here in the Toledo area. It's technically in Perrysburg, but that's just getting nitpicky. But it's only a part-time gig, which is okay. But I've kind of wanted to get into doing this online streaming thing. I've done it on and off here and there, but never been real solid on it. So kind of with the getting offered a job at FedEx, kind of had the motivation to really start looking into doing this. Oh, I guess I could have gone that way. Oh well. Okay, we want Delta 14. And this is runway 3416. It's clear as far as I can tell. Crossing the runway.
Toledo and Round, orbit 8238 West Lima, ready to taxi. IFR. Orbit 8238, taxi to and hold short of runway 7 using taxiway Bravo. Contact tower on 118.1 when ready. Taxi to and hold short runway 7 using taxiway Bravo. Orbit 8238.
That was a little fast. Delta 6. I really hope I'm going the right way. Well, once we get to the runway and take off, we'll head north and reopen that GPS. I don't think we really need the checklist anymore. Let's do that. Well, views, instrument panel, GPS. We really don't need it to be that big. Oh, not enough power. Come on. big to be a 7.3. Oh, it's an Airbus. A321. Yeah, it told me. Taxiway is this. That's D11. Yeah, it shouldn't come as any surprise that Airbus is going to get there before we are. That's okay. That is okay. It wants us to go to 14, so we'll go to 14. Helps if I'm looking completely straight. I am using a CH Products Flight Sim yoke for those curious. I've had it for quite some time, and it's been a good piece of equipment.
Toledo ground. Pacifica 90244 with Mike, ready to taxi. IFR.
Pacifica 90244, taxi 2 and hold short of runway 7.
Switch to the tower frequency. Back on the throttle some.
Toledo Tower, Cessna November 52 Kilo Alpha, ready for north departure at runway 7. Cessna November 52 Kilo Alpha, cleared for takeoff, runway 7, north departure approved. Cleared for takeoff, runway 7, Cessna 2 Kilo Alpha.
Alright, we're cleared for takeoff. We beat that big ol' Airbus.
Toledo Tower, orbit 8238, ready for IFR departure. Runway 7.
Orbit 8238, hold short, runway 7. Traffic is Cessna Skyhawk on the runway.
Hold short, runway 7. Orbit 8238.
Get that out of there. Hit the backspace. Back.
Orbit 8238, taxi in position and hold.
Position and hold. Orbit 8238.
Slowly add the power in. Hit 70 knots. Start pulling back. Check the trim. Alright. Flaps up. Look behind us real quick. Power a little bit. Probably trim down a little. Alright. Now departing Toledo. This is the Toledo Express Airport. This is...
8238, cleared for takeoff, runway 7.
Let's
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 7.
turn out of
Orbit
here.
8238.
Get on course. little outside of the Toledo metro area. There's another airport that looks to be similar in size called Toledo Executive. It's not where flying in and out of. This one's literally down the road from where I'm living at, so I tend to fly locally. I don't really fly the big jets. I tend to fly little Cessnas or basically the smaller puddle jumpers. It's what I've got the most experience in. They're simple. I mean, I don't have my pilot's license. I have some flight hours logged and under training, but I've been around aviation my entire life, so I understand the basics of flight. In the event that I were flying with somebody and they were incapacitated and I happened to be in the right seat, I could take over if needed. But I'm not a certified pilot, even though I would love to be. But aviation is in my blood. I've been around it my entire life, and I love it. And there's nothing quite like the freedom of flight. You take off, you're flying, and you don't care about anything else. You're focused on flying and just looking at the scenery. And this is why I also don't like flying commercially in general, is just you miss out on flying at 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 feet and getting to see the ground, and you get a new perspective on life. You can see, oh gosh, that's that place that I go to, and it feels like it's far away. It really isn't that far away. It gives you a nice new perspective on things, and I really enjoy that. I mean, obviously this isn't 100% realistic looking, but it is what it is.
Toledo Tower, Pacifica Diner 244, ready to go. Runway 7, IFR, Adam.
Pacifica Diner 244, cleared for takeoff, runway 7.
Yeah, I'd love to have
Runway 7.
a set of rudder pedals and a decent joystick, so that I could eventually, do things a bit more seriously. With just a basic yoke and whatnot, I'm fairly limited on what I'm able to realistically do. So I can't control the rudder, so I have to have auto rudder, because that's how you'd really steer on the ground. I have turns auto coordinated, and that's not realistic. There's just a lot of things that I'd like to do.
Tower, Bombardier, November 4389er, Mike, is 15 miles northeast.
But just,
runway 25.
flight sim peripherals are not inexpensive by any means. Smoking is prohibited. That's very true. This is just the default Microsoft stock flight sim C-172 SP. So it's nothing. It's really nothing fancy. But for just getting started into this, I'm very happy with it. It's similar to what I'm used to flying in. I'm used to flying in a Cessna 175 Skylark. My grandpa's owned it since 1967, and it's a wonderful little airplane, and you never see very many of them. The 175 was never really overly popular because of the geared engine, the Continental engine that it had. and it was geared, so nobody, as my grandpa would put it, nobody knew how to fly it correctly. So they would always burn up the back of the engine, or they'd have it set at the wrong RPMs. Because of the geared engine, it would run, or it would indicate a higher engine I think it was a higher engine RPM or a higher prop RPM. It was one of the two. But it was, everybody thought it operated just like a regular non-geared engine, so that's where a lot of people would go wrong with it per se. And that's why it didn't really catch on in popularity, and that's fine. But it's the plane that I know the best. So I'm a little partial to it. I would love to one day have somebody get the ones, or take a 175 and put it into flight sim with good flight modeling and all that fancy stuff. It'd be really neat, because that's a plane that I'm familiar with, and I know that plane. I've even got a few loggable hours in it, so this is going to be a short little flight, because it's saying we ought to arrive at Jackson at 20 after 2, so in roughly 20 minutes or so, give or take. Pardon me while I get a drink. By the way, Mountain Dew, Pitch Black. Vote for Pitch Black on Decision 2016. Shameless plug. I'm not paid to say that. No, really, I'm not. But if anyone from Pepsi listens to this, by all means, I will plug you to the day I die, if you pay me. Or anybody for that matter. You want to pay me to play games and product placement? I'm all about that. Yeah, it's not exactly the most exhilarating thing in the world to fly a small airplane, especially local puddle jumping, but I like it. It's relaxing. I don't know. There's something about it that's just wonderful. See, I'm using this one. Ooh. Look at that shine.
Orbit 308, contact ground on 121.9er.
121.9er, orbit 308.
Take a screenshot. Where'd the GPS go? Check the instruments, everything's in the green, which is a good thing. You always want things to be in the green. That's a good thing.
Bombardier 89er Mike, contact ground on 121.9er. 121.9er, Bombardier 89er Mike.
Now the real fun thing about this, let's see if I can. I'm still learning. When you get into aviation, you're always learning things. And me being at the bottom, I know more than most people, but I still don't know a lot compared to everyone. In the flight sim industry, I really don't know that much. I'm still, I'm not a certified pilot, blah blah blah. So a lot of these, I should have a lot of these like nav frequencies and whatnot in my head because I visited there, but I don't. Mostly because I was never the pilot in charge. I was always the passenger. Although my grandpa would let me, once we took off and were cruising, he'd let me take the controls. Almost there. 109.60. Hey, look at that. Thank you. Alright. That's the site I'm going to have to bookmark. airnav.com. Okay, where's that GPS again? Instrument panel, GPS. Yeah, it's still ETA 14:19 local time. Down a little bit because we're not going to want to climb anymore. Let's get the lower end of that manifold pressure or the tach. Bring up the ATC window. Let's see, how many nautical miles are we out? That's not helpful. Let's see, near airport list. No. Airport's farther. Airport's farther. Wow. Oh Lord.
Next airport information. Whiskey 1804 Zulu. Wind 127 at 8. Visibility greater than 20 miles. Sky condition clear. Temperature 2.1. Altimeter 3010. ILM runway 24. Landing and departing runway 24. VFR aircraft stay direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact and have whiskey.
So we have information whiskey. Alright, we're gonna do a
Tower,
full
November
stop.
52 Kilo Alpha, 625 miles southeast with land. Cessna November 52 Kilo Alpha, Jackson Tower, entered left, traffic runway 24, altimeter 3011.
Common runway.
Left, traffic runway 24, Cessna 2 Kilo Alpha.
Alright, well, we've made contact with the tower. Oh, there goes that Orion. Or that mall. Busy sky today. There's a 7-3. He might be going to Detroit. He might be climbing. 2.4. No, he's ascending, so he's definitely going into Detroit somewhere. Oh, there's a 180. Cherokee 180. Yeah, busy sky today. And with the weather like this, who could blame him? Oh, look at that. It's all trimmed out. It's flying itself practically. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Keep an eye out for the airport because we shouldn't be. We're only 25 miles out. We're right on course. So like I said, there's still a lot I have to learn. A lot of it, I understand how to fly. It's a lot of the procedural things, like working the radio and just getting seat time, doing stalls and advanced maneuvers. It's that sort of thing that I haven't yet gotten to, and I really want to get back into it, but flight training's pretty expensive. Anything around aviation involves a lot of money. But it's one of those frustrating things for me because I know how to fly. I can fly an airplane. But until I get the proper training and whatnot, I can't legally fly, and that's a frustrating thing because I love flying. I want to go flying. I want to be around airplanes, but it's just not something I can really do like I'd like. A little strip down there. Jackson's somewhere shortly up ahead. But it's just eternally frustrating because it's something I know how to do, but I can't do, at least legally. But with any luck, here soon I'll be doing some regular training and whatnot with the Yankee Air Museum as part of their ramp crew. I'm in touch with people about doing that, and it's really exciting for me because not only will I be able to be around aircraft and whatnot, I'll be around vintage warbirds because they fly a B-25, they fly a B-17, and they fly a C-47. So that's exciting to me because it's not just being around airplanes. It's about being around historic pieces of history. The B-17, the B-25, C-47. Those are important things, an important part of our history. With being involved in World War II, and we're actually in a slow light. descent, but that's okay because we're about to the airport already. 40 degrees, cold. Let's see if we're 10% right. Oh, our altimeter was not set correctly, so we're a little higher than we thought. So that's just something exciting. I would always encourage people to get involved with anything in history. History is so important. If we don't learn from it, we're going to be doomed to repeat it. And there's a lot of history. Ooh, we're getting bouncy now. Hello. What was their ATIS? More 127.95. We'll move to X-ray from Whiskey.
Visibility greater than 20 miles. Sky conditions clear. Temperature 2.1. Altimeter 3010. ILS runway 24. Landing and departing runway 24. APR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have X-ray.
Alright, so now we have X-ray as opposed to Whiskey. We're about 5 more minutes. Yeah, maybe one of these trips I'll have to fly over to Ypsilanti, and that's over that way a ways. Ypsilanti is where the Yankee Air Museum is. So it'd be kind of neat to fly there. And actually it'd be about equivalent to a literal puddle jump, because Toledo, or where I'm at in Toledo anyway, it's roughly an hour drive. That's being generous. It's closer to 45 minutes to an hour drive from where I'm at. So it's a real easy drive. Flying, it would be quite a bit quicker, because you can, as the crow flies. Okay, I'll start backing off the throttle a little bit. Start descending some. It's like my dad always told me, and he used to have his flight instructor certificate. Pitch to airspeed, throttle to altitude, or something along those lines. Well, okay, so the airport's dead ahead of us. And we're gonna enter a left pattern traffic, which means we're gonna fly parallel to the runway that we're gonna land on, and the runway is going to be to our left, and that will be a left downwind. And then we'll turn a left base, and then final approach. How well I do it, we'll see. I'm in desperate need of practice, so the more I do, the better I'll get. You know, and that's kind of the purpose of or the wonderful thing about a flight sim, is it gives you that gives you the practice of what to do and how to do things, and it doesn't cost as much as it would in real life, because this would not be cheap. You know, avgas, aviation fuel, is quite a bit more expensive. It's usually $1 or more expensive than car gasoline. And I can start trimming down a little too. Really? So even a trip as simple as this
Cessna 84 Yankee
would not be
airspace,
cheap
changing
by
course.
any means. There's a reason. Oh, we're practically lined up with the damn runway. Are we? 2-4. Where's 2-4? Ah, no. So we might not actually be entering a left downwind. We may just be going straight to base. In fact, we're gonna angle ourselves as such.
Cessna 2 Kilo Alpha, cleared to land, runway 24.
Oh, we just got cleared to land. Acknowledged.
Action Tower, Piper, November 8287, Tango.
I love it when somebody-
Northern, runway 24. Piper, November 8287, Tango, hold short, runway 24. Traffic is Cessna, Skyhawk, Sunbeam. Cleared to land, runway 24. Cessna 2 Kilo
Yeah,
Alpha.
you wait your turn, Piper.
Hold short, runway 24. Piper, 87, Tango.
Now we can't add flaps until we're in the white arc. On the airspeed indicator. Now if you're all wondering how I'm looking around and whatnot, I have a POV hat on my yoke. That's allows me to just without it allows me to look around without using a mouse or okay, we need to add a little bit of power. What in the world is that floating over there? No time to worry about that. I've got to make a turn. We're doing a short final. Put an extra bit of flap down. That's weird. One thing I would like to eventually get. Oh, we are on the other side of it. That's Interstate 94 down there. One thing I would really like to get is it's called Track IR. That would allow me to just literally pivot my head. And be able to look around. And that would be so much of a help. Okay, so this is a short final, and usually you don't want to do it that steep, but oh, we didn't do too bad. Cut the throttle. Oh, perfect, nice and smooth. Oh, that was wonderful.
Cessna 2 Kilo Alpha, turn next taxiway.
Well, we were going too fast for that one. Yeah, flaps are up. There's a Cherokee. So the next taxiway is up here. I actually want to add a little bit of throttle. I am not using stock textures now that I think about it. I have what's called Real Environment X, or I think it's a lot of people just call it Rex. Yes, Tower, I understand. I have to get to the next taxiway. But it makes things a little bit more high res. So it just looks fancier, and I kind of like that.
Cessna 2 Kilo Alpha, contact ground on 181.9er. Hybrid November 8287 Tango, cleared for takeoff. Runway 2 warp to north departure. Approved. Going to 121.9er. Cessna 2 Kilo Alpha.
Okay, now we taxi to parking.
Ground, Cessna November 52 Kilo Alpha.
Now this is an airport I've frequently visited.
November 52 Kilo Alpha, taxi to General Aviation Parking. Taxiway Echo.
Because they have a nice restaurant. It would be right in here, basically. It's a really good restaurant. I haven't been there in a long time. I always got the pilot's omelet. Really good. But we're gonna park this thing. And then we're gonna call it a stream. And if you didn't catch the stream, you're probably watching this on YouTube. And that being said, if you're catching it on YouTube, if you like this video, feel free to click the like button. If you really liked it, please, by all means, please subscribe. I'm going to be doing some different games, not just this. I've got Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5. With GTA 5, I'm looking at doing LS PDFR and occasionally regular GTA Online. With GTA 4, I might end up doing LC PDFR. But I will keep an eye on my Twitter, keep an eye on my Facebook page. They're both there on the screen. But that being said, hope you enjoyed the stream. If you have any comments, please put them in the comment section below. So I will catch you next time.